Hey everyone, this is Chris from Realridesharestories. On this channel, we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, so if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. But before we get started, if you have a crazy Uber or Lyft experience, whether you're a passenger or a driver, record it, send it my way, and maybe we could feature you on the channel. All right, so we're going to be talking a little bit of a follow-up from the last video I posted, which was a what would you do scenario. After I posted that video, there was a lot of different things that I found out just about that post itself. So I kind of want to address that, and I also want to be able to give the actual driver who wrote that actual scenario, because they experienced it, his proper ability to be able to share his thoughts with what had happened, especially when it came to the group where that was posted. So if you didn't watch the last video that I posted, put this on pause, go watch that video, and then come back and watch this, because it is a follow-up. So if you don't know the context behind it, it was just basically a scenario that was written to me on my Facebook page, where somebody said that they saw it on another Facebook page, and then asked what I would do in that situation. And so I was actually walking around when I got that, was reading that post and thinking about it while I was actually walking around. And many different scenarios popped in my head on how I would handle the situation. And each of them was different on how to handle it. And yesterday's video was where I kind of sat down and talked about what I would do, and then I asked what other people would do. And that's essentially what I want to happen with that exact post was, you want to be able to ponder and think about certain things or certain scenarios that you may not come across on a normal day-to-day, but it's very possible and it's very relevant. And how would you handle that situation? So it's always great to go into thinking about that, because of the fact that when you get up to a certain ride or something, you could be completely thrown off and out of your game and out of your element, because it's something that you don't normally come across. And a perfect example is, there was a video that I posted last week where it was the world's most annoying passenger. And it was a woman who was a backseat driver who was belligerently drunk and very annoying, getting in my personal space. And this woman just threw me off completely because of what was going on. And somebody commented on it yesterday, where they said that they would have tried to distract that person and kind of, steer the conversation in a different direction to get her to stop. And yeah, I would do that too. And that's one thing that you could do when you're thinking about it outside the actual ride itself or outside the element. But when you're in it, like I was, she threw me for an entire loop, and I didn't, know what was going on. I mean, I knew it was going on, but you didn't act accordingly the same way. Like, maybe I would have just told her, like, look, this is the GPS, this is the route I'm following. If you don't like it, too bad. Or change the conversation or do something. But sometimes certain things just throw you off. And so the post was posted onto another Facebook page, which I actually want to talk about Facebook pages in it for a brief minute, because of what's going on with those as well. And this is a perfect example on why. So the whole background of the story is, this was an actual ride where a driver named Eric in Philadelphia came up to a woman and child who had ordered a ride, and he rolled down the window and basically said that no car seat, no ride. But he noticed that there was a fight going on. She was distraught, and he was venting onto this Facebook page, saying, "Man, this sucks." So if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know that, yeah, it sucks. Like, you wanted to be able to do something, but you wanted to be in accordance with the law. And you know what? That is Eric's way of thinking, and that's the way he wanted to do it, and that's the way he wanted to handle it. And you know what? Here's the thing. He's right. He's absolutely right. And then I posted that video yesterday, and I shared my thoughts, and guess what? I'm right. And then I asked other people what they would do in situations like that, and some people said yes, I would get them immediately out of that and screw the law. And then there were other people on there who commented and said, no, I'm sorry, the law is the law. I wouldn't take them. And guess what? Both those are right as well. You are the driver. You are in control. You allow in your car what you want, and don't allow what you don't want in your car. So every single person is correct how they handle the situation. What you do when you come up to a ride and how you handle it, you are right. Now, maybe it's against terms of service or against policy or whatever it might be, and you don't know. But in situations where it's a scenario that's brought up, like that one yesterday and everything that happened, that's everybody's right in how they would handle it. Because yes, you want to get that person out of the way if there's harm. If they're just trying to cool off, sorry, yeah, you can't get a ride. Go take a walk or something. Go to a park, cool off, calm down. Then go back, talk it out, whatever it might be. But if there's any type of true major issue, that's your discretion and what you think and what you feel is correct. So if you say, no, sorry, the law is the law, you're right. If you say, hey, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to help you, let's get you out of here. Hey, you're right. Other people also come and said, I would call the cops right away and let them sort it out. And hey, you're right too. So everybody is right in their own thought. And it's like I said, scenarios that are good to ponder about before they actually come about. So in terms of now I want to kind of shift it to the Facebook side of things. I'm a member of a lot of different groups, and I'm also an admin for another group, all for Uber and Lyft driving. And let me talk about some of what I see on just the pages themselves. I see people who are complaining about certain things or sharing their trip, whatever happened on their trip. Maybe their how much they made. Maybe they're complaining about certain things. Maybe they're venting about what a situation happened, like that driver Eric was. He was venting about it. He's saying, yeah, this sucks. This isn't what I want. Whatever it is. And then, whatever the comments are, when it's pertaining to actual rideshare, and Uber or Lyft and the dealings as being a driver. Obviously posting pictures about food or posting pictures about just inappropriate videos is one thing. That's different. But hey, when you're the moderator or you're the admin for the Facebook page, you have the discretion on whether you want to allow it or not. And that post got deleted. And hey, that's that admin's correct action. He wanted, or he or she wanted to take that down, and that's fine. But the thing that they got people were getting triggered on it and saying like some nasty comments that Eric was telling me, because we went back and forth a little bit, and there were a lot of comments by saying like, you should have gotten them out of there. You should, like, trying to get people to do what you would do, is not necessarily the right course of action. Look, everybody's their own business owner here. And he wanted to be in accordance with the law, but he was also expressing how he didn't appreciate that and he didn't like that. He thought it sucked. He wanted to be able to help, or he wanted to be able to get them out. And he was getting a lot of heat for it. And I see posts like that all of the time. And some posts are warranted and some are not. And guys, come on, we're all driving here. We're all trying to make a buck here. We're all trying to do the right thing. We're all trying to get people from point A to point B, and we're all trying to enjoy doing it, or have fun doing it, or whatnot, or make some extra money, or whatever it is. So don't attack other people on Facebook pages when it comes to how they handled it, because you know what? How they handled it is correct in their eyes, whether you agree with it or not. And it's the same thing if you post something and somebody attacks you. Like, let's be supportive of people and driving. Instead of saying, no, you shouldn't have handled it that way, you should have done it this way, maybe change your wording a little bit and said, hey, that way's a certain way. Maybe I wouldn't have done it that way. Maybe I would have done it this way, and be constructive about it instead of saying like nasty things, nasty comments. So his post eventually got shut down and deleted. And I'm glad that another person reached out to me with that actual scenario, because to me, I think that's a wonderful way to ponder a certain situation before coming to that. So if it throws you off, you may be able to know how to handle it or navigate it by pondering certain ideas or certain thoughts. Yes, this video is me a little bit ranting about it. But, like I said, there's so many people on Facebook that will lash out and say things. And even on the admin side, I get things reported from other people that have no sense, in my opinion, reporting it. Like, there's no just because somebody said something that you didn't agree with in a non-confrontational way and you report it, like, sorry, I'm not going to be the one who makes that decision. I don't think that, I'll look at the entire post and read all of the comments and read how its interaction happens. But if it doesn't look like it's confrontational or derogatory in any way, I'm going to leave it on there, and I'm not going to play into that, because, it's other people's opinions. So here's the thing. It's an opinion. It's not a fact. It's a thought, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's able to have their own opinion, how they'd handle a situation or not. Don't call people out, though, on saying, this is the way you should have done it, or even worse. And I'm going to play a video that Eric made in response to a lot of the hate comments that he was getting on that Facebook page, because I want him to be able to clarify that. So the video isn't pertaining to how I posted it yesterday. The video isn't pertaining to my comments or my thoughts, or the blurb that the context that I got just from that Facebook blurb itself, without any context of the background or the story. He made a video that was in context to the hate comments that he was getting from that post. So I do want to play that. Here you go.
First of all, for those of you that said that baby's blood will be on my hands because I didn't break the law. No, first of all, number one, I'm following the rules not only of Uber/Lyft, but I'm following the law itself. Number two, the lady had removed herself from the hostile situation. She was outside the house and had the man come outside the house after her. I was right there ready to, protect her or whatever. Thirdly, if she chose to go back into the house after having left the hostile situation, then that will be her fault and not mine. Then the other thing is, just because she was crying doesn't mean that she was in danger. She could have been the one that started the argument. She could have got angry at him and said, if you don't want me anymore, I'm going to take your kid. And women have done that kind of thing. It's actually happened to me before too. So the whole point, automatically assuming that she was in danger. Possibly in danger, yes. And like I said, I heard a guy yelling. I didn't see anyone. When she said, please take me, she said, I don't, have anywhere else to go, which makes no sense, because if she had money to pay for an Uber, then she had money to take public transportation. I live in Philadelphia. Public transportation is from where the area I was at is almost on every other corner. You can catch a bus anywhere. The other thing is, if she had 8 minutes, because it took me 8 minutes to get there, if she had 8 minutes to wait for an Uber Lyft in that household, then she had enough time to call 911. She had enough time to go to a neighbor's house. There's a lot of things that could have happened. Like this whole idea that, you know, the superhero Uber Lyft random dude, was supposed to save her life. It's just stupid. Now, it's just dumb. I just don't understand where this is coming from. Ironically, some of y'all that's saying, oh, that baby's blood would have been of your hands. Like, had I came online today with a story that said, dag, I chose to take a passenger. Oh, let me tell you. Matter of fact, I'll give you a real life scenario. Monday, after declining one person who didn't have a child seat and realizing that it's a holiday and people were trying to get home, I probably run into people without kids, or people with kids without child seats all night. Luckily I didn't. But figuring that would probably be my night, I turned down the first person. The very next ride request I got Monday night was another person that didn't have a child seat. And I actually took them for some dumb reason, probably because I was expecting to run into that all night. I didn't want to not have any money. That the one time I said, you know what, fine, I'll just take you and your kid without a car seat. Literally, less than 2 blocks away, I almost got into an accident with this woman and this child that wasn't in the car seat because some idiot came from some little side street. And you know how, if you live in an urban area, you know how people park all the way up to the corner, which you're not supposed to do, but they park all the way up to the corner so that the people coming out the side streets can't see. And this idiot chose to dart his car out of the side street and just try to cross a bigger road without looking. And luckily, I had enough time to stop and not hit him. But I literally almost had an accident, less than 2 minutes after picking up a woman and a child that didn't have a car seat. So, I mean, what would you guys have said had I come into the group Monday night and said, hey, I got into an accident and the kid didn't have a car seat? Some of y'all same people would have been like, you should have picked him up. You know what I mean? Come on. I have a completely clear conscience. I'm not God, okay? And like I said, she removed herself from the situation. It's not like the guy came after her. It's not like I saw anything other than what she said and her obviously being upset. I told her, she chose to turn back towards the house. I said, walk away from the house. She said, where am I supposed to go? I said, walk away. If she chose to go back in there, how is it my fault? I didn't go in the forum because I was feeling guilty and I needed affirmation about me making the right choice or not. Or all I said was situations like this suck. I don't like turning down anybody that has kids because I just don't. But the law is the law and it's for their own safety. So it is what it is, and y'all get off your moral high horse saying stupid stuff.
All right, guys, so that was Eric's response again to the Facebook side of things, the hate comments that he was receiving for just his venting post and saying, like, that sucks, and him just venting, and he got a lot of slack for it, and then eventually got that post deleted. And hey, again, I'm not an admin to that page. I don't even know what page it was, so I can't comment or anything on that. And the admin had their responsibility and what they felt was right, and that's cool. Eric had his right on how he handled the situation he did. I have my thoughts and my opinions, and I'm right on that. And everybody who commented on yesterday's video or even watched the video and didn't comment, but at least pondered what they would do, you guys are right in your own way as well, too. It's hard sometimes in certain situations. Most of the rides that you get are straightforward and simple and they are pretty much black and white for the most part. And there are those few gray area scenarios that happen. And honestly, I like that situation where people will bring up a scenario to me so I can ponder it. And even looking back at previous rides, when I was being followed, how would I handle that? I've never had that happen before. I never even thought about that situation before. I was thinking about it as it was happening. with adrenaline going. So it was not a easy situation, but now thinking back on it, you can think of different scenarios, different things, and how you would handle it, or where you would go, or what you might do, or how you would talk to the passenger or not talk to the passenger. You can think of those. And that's another scenario right there. Like, if you were being followed, what would you do? Where would you go? How would you handle it with the passenger? Those are all a lot of different things. And that's a video that I posted a few weeks ago on that exact topic of what had happened to me. So yes, certain things will happen when you're a driver that aren't black and white and are gray, and you kind of need to know how to handle the situation, maybe as it's happening or before. So scenarios like this are great. And anybody who wants to write me a scenario, go on my Facebook page on Realridesharestories and comment in the post section and post a scenario there. And if it's a good post where I think it's a great different scenario, I'll share my thoughts on here and then open it up to everybody else to be able to share their thoughts. And that's the whole thing. I want to be able to get your guys' opinions and thoughts on how you would handle it, because anybody who watches that video and then scrolls through the comments, it'll reinforce their decision on what they would do. Maybe it'll change their decision on what they would do. Whatever it is, it's up to you guys, because you are your own boss. You allow what goes on in your car, and you don't allow what goes on in your car. So you are in control. You allow that or you don't. It's up to you. And that's all I can really say. All right, so yeah, sorry I was ranting about that, but I also wanted to clarify a lot of things. I wanted to give Eric his ability to share his thoughts and what had happened where he was kind of shut down on the other platform on his page. So I want to make sure that he was able to address that. And again, I just want to say thank you, Amy and Eric, one for posting that originally, and then Amy for posting that and bringing it to my attention, and just asking what I would do, because I thought that was a fantastic scenario, where there's a lot of things that are going on, and you kind of want to be able to figure out how to handle that situation if something arises. And also, again, anybody who has any other scenarios out there that are in accordance, put them up on Facebook pages and construct it in terms of a what would you do scenario, and or put it on my Facebook page, bring it up to my attention, or email me, whatever it is. Give me scenarios. I enjoy that. I like the pondering of things, because it's going to make me a better rideshare driver. I can share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. And then I'll also ask you guys what you would do in certain situations as well, where you can comment below and share your thoughts and opinions. And again, everybody's going to be right when it comes to how they would handle certain situations, because that's what they would think. But at least it gets people thinking and pondering about ideas. All right, so I'm going to end this rant and this context. Again, I thought it was a great scenario that was brought up. Thank you. But yeah, that's going to be the end. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do. We've got a lot of great videos coming up that I have planned. A lot of crazy things that are going on. Make sure you hit that bell for notifications so you'll be notified as well. So every time a video is uploaded, you'll know. Make sure you hit that like button. Comment below with anything, with your thoughts, your ideas. Be constructive though. If you got hate comments, whatever, I'll just ignore it. As always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers. And we'll see you next time.